Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Louise Hobart begins now.
Good evening, everyone. 3 people in their 70s are in a serious condition after being taken to hospital following a head-on collision in Risdon Vale. The crash causing traffic chaos on the busy highway, which police were forced to shut for hours.
The damage extensive, debris scattered across the East Derwent Highway. Emergency services called to the scene of this terrifying crash at Risdon Cove at around 11 this morning.
2 vehicles have had a head-on collision travelling on this road, which is outside the pyramids at Risdon Cove.
A blue Nissan driven by a 73-year-old Oak Downs man colliding with a blue MG hatchback heading in the opposite direction. Inside, a 77-year-old man and a 74-year-old woman, both from Bellerive. The occupants of both cars have been taken to hospital in a serious condition. The cause still unclear.
Accident investigation services are investigating the crash at the moment.
Police spending several hours on the scene sifting through the wreckage. This section of the East Derwent Highway remaining closed for several hours as police work to determine the cause of the crash, reminding the public to drive with care.
Inattention, using mobile phones, speeding are all of those things that we encourage people not to do.
Anyone with information is being urged to contact Crime Stoppers. Meg Sides, 7 Tasmania News.
And in some developing news now, emergency services are currently on the scene of a serious crash on the Hewan Highway at Hewanville. It's understood 2 cars have collided head-on. The extent of the injuries are at this stage unknown. Police say the highway is expected to be closed for several hours. It's been revealed the doctor at the centre of this week's COVID vaccine overdose in Brisbane gained his medical qualifications at UTAS. Dr Shujoy Richauji mistakenly gave 2 elderly residents in Queensland reportedly 4 times the advised dosage of the Pfizer vaccine. The doctor in question has faced controversy before, having been barred from dealing with medical cannabis products by medical bodies and now requires supervision by his employer. Greens boss Cassie O'Connor says she's written to opposition leader Rebecca White, Speaker of the House Sue Hickey and an independent MP calling to collaborate and reform housing legislation amid a state shortage. Madeline Ogilvie already showing interest in the proposal, while Labor indicates it won't be on board.
There hasn't been the urgency that's required to address this problem. That's what Cassie should be focusing on. If she doesn't have ideas of her own, she should be holding the government to account.
Rents are soaring. They're becoming increasingly unaffordable. We need to have cooperative action in the Tasmanian Parliament on behalf of Tasmanian tenants.
The state government has labelled the move a stunt, saying millions of dollars has gone into delivering housing. Another candidate has been announced for the upcoming Legislative Council election. Nick Dagon will run as the Liberal candidate for Windermere, hoping to replace the outgoing independent Ivan Dean.
He's a TV personality best known for his on-screen fishing antics.
G'day everyone and welcome to Hook, Line and Sinker, Tasmania's own fishing show.
Now Nick Dagon is hoping to reel in voters in the upcoming Legislative Council election.
I'm the Liberal candidate for the seat of Windermere. Windermere is a place that I love. It is where I live, it is where I work, it is where I've chosen to raise my family.
The announcement follows the election of former newsreader Liberal Joe Palmer to the seat of Rosevears last year.
The Liberals, they don't mind a bit of a TV personality for their upper house candidates. I used to work with Nick. He's a good bloke and I wish him the best of luck.
Incumbent Ivan Dean isn't recontesting and has endorsed independent Will Smith. They'll be competing against Labor's candidate, former federal MP Jeff Lyons.
Look, we've got a fantastic candidate in Jeff Lyons, who's an experienced campaigner.
Labor's Craig Farrell will recontest his seat in Derwent in the May election. Not scared by the announcement, local Mayor Ben Shaw will be challenging him for the role.
It's not what he thinks really, it's what the people think and they'll make their judgment on polling day.
Out today calling for the government to release a plan for the Northern Suburb Transit Corridor, which received $25 million in funding through the Hobart City deal.
There's been no work on this line at all. There's $25 million sitting on a desk somewhere that is for this purpose and it hasn't been used.
It's crazy. This is a infrastructure reform that is long overdue. It has overwhelming support of the people in Hobart and southern Tasmania.
The government says work behind the scenes is underway, but hasn't committed to light rail.
It is preposterous for Labor to be suggesting that the money's been lost. In fact, what's occurring is that the government is working through it very methodically.
Meg Sides, 7 Tasmania News.
The state's leading education experts are gathering in Hobart to discuss the future of education. The Beacon Foundation is hosting a conference this week, hoping to find better paths to transition school leavers into the community.
It's a pretty exciting opportunity off the back of what has been a really tough period for all, but particularly for young people who have been hit probably the hardest through COVID, etc.
They say community and industry engagement in education is needed now more than ever. Aviation enthusiasts and historians have gathered for a landmark anniversary at the Launceston Airport. Today marks its 90th birthday, and to celebrate, they've unveiled the return of a very special relic.
Miss Flinders was the very first aircraft to engage in commercial flights when the Launceston Airport opened in 1931.
It crossed Bass Strait a number of times. It started the aerial service to Flinders Island. It was doing a medical evacuation early on in the 30s.
The historic aircraft displayed in the airport from the 60s to the 90s. It's now set to return.
It's special because it's come back to where it probably should be and where it started its career.
Unveiled today as part of the airport's 90th birthday celebrations.
To have it here, to see how we've grown, how aviation has grown, and just for our customers to enjoy when they come through the terminal. It's just a wonderful opportunity.
Aviation enthusiasts gathering for a chance to remember the opening in 1931. That day was an eventful one, with an aircraft pageant at the site.
On that day, 15,000 people turned up to attend that air pageant. It was quite an incredible event. It turned out to be, they had the biggest traffic jam that Northern Tasmania had seen. The railways couldn't cope.
But tragedy struck as one plane involved in the demonstrations crashed and a female passenger died. This is all that remains.
We have a piece of memorabilia which is a tip off the propeller of that particular aircraft that crashed.
90 years on, both the planes and the airport itself vastly different. Josh Dagon, 7 Tasmania News.
Records have been broken at this year's Hobart Run the Bridge, seeing 2 top athletes blitzing the race in around half an hour. Thousands of participants conquering the tough slog, drawing in a mix of elite professionals and fit locals giving it a go.
As the sun rises over Hobart, runners replace cars across the Tasman Bridge. The women starting first, followed by the men at Blunston Arena, making the gruelling 10-kilometre journey into the city. Queensland Olympian Genevieve Gregson crossing the finish line first in 32 minutes 21 seconds, smashing the record.
Crossing the line first is something that every athlete just dreams of at night, and this feeling is special, and I definitely cherish every single victory that I can get.
Victorian athlete Jack Rayner winning the men's heat with the fastest time of the day, 28 minutes and 28 seconds, also beating the previous record.
Yeah, pretty stoked with it. It's pretty, course record PB, so yeah, can't be more happy.
Not an easy feat for the pair, who both have eyes on the Tokyo Olympics.
I definitely was a little bit worried early on that I had probably kind of been a little bit too ambitious early, but I think that helped because I was able to push the pace and the girls all challenged me back, and it allowed us to hold off Jack.
I just try and stay relaxed as I can when I'm running, and knowing that you'll go through bad patches every now and then, but you'll get going at the end.
The 12th annual Hobart Run the Bridge, raking in around 4,000 participants over 4 events. While slightly less than last year, organisers say it's still a decent turnout amid the global pandemic.
To be honest, we're completely grateful that we went ahead at all. If we had 3 runners wanted to come up and do it, the fact that we were able to go ahead means so much.
Ranging from the elite to locals of all athletic abilities.
It's tough, but a lot of fun. It's a beautiful day. The course is really challenging, which makes for an interesting run. Beautiful views.
Many under no illusion which part of the course was the toughest.
Rosny Hill, the big steep hill. Probably at the end of that, Liam kind of put a big surge after the top of the hill going down. So that was kind of tough.
Rosny Hill, definitely.
Yeah.
And that last little hill at the end is cheeky.
Ruby Kemain, 7 Tasmania News.
Local wine lovers enjoyed the final day of a festival weekend devoted to Tasmania's top drops. Winefest revellers tipped back a glass in the sun at the Royal Botanical Gardens, sampling what the state has to offer from more than 25 vineyards. 4 separate sessions were held over the 3 days to comply with COVID-19 measures. It is the second time the event has been held. With 2 Tasmanians at the helm, North Melbourne have steadied the ship, snapping their 2-game losing streak with a 22-point win over Carlton at Utah's Stadium. Daria Bannister was influential in the forward line throughout the night, while Mia King kicked a crucial goal in the final turn.
To keep the Blues at bay. She pokes at it, it's straight and it's home, and so's Mia.
The win keeps the Roos in the finals hunt. They'll next face Richmond on Friday night, while Carlton play Geelong. In women's cricket, the Tasmanian Tigers have gone down to Victoria by 5 wickets in their top-of-the-table WNCL clash. Despite a strong start, a middle-order collapse in the final 10 overs restricted them to 255. Naomi Stellenberg was the Tigers' top scorer on 63 not out. Sam Bates took 3 wickets with the ball, but the Vics couldn't be stopped. 133 not out from opener Elise Villani ensured they got home with 11 deliveries to spare. Tasmanian horse Mystic Journey is heading home for surgery after injuring her leg at Flemington yesterday. The mare suffered bone chips and bruising in the knee and is set to be out for up to 4 months. But it's hoped she will be ready for the spring racing season later on this year.
Good evening. Hobart, Burnie and Devonport all 21 today, 24 in Launceston. 26 the high recorded at Bushy Park, Grove close behind at 25 degrees, 23 at the Friendly Beaches, Smithton and Lowhead 22, 21 on Flinders Island and at St Helens, Maria and King Islands both 20 and Lyweenie 19 degrees. On the satellite, we can see low-level cloud building during the afternoon, particularly about inland areas, and also patchy high-level cloud drifting over the state. Cloud associated with the monsoon trough is seen over the far north. A low off northern Queensland is generating deep convection with embedded thunderstorms, and patchy cloud is over parts of southern and eastern Australia. Tomorrow, a cold front is crossing Tasmania during the afternoon, with a low centre passing near the southeast of the state. The tropical low off the northern Queensland coast is deepening. To coastal waters, west to northwesterly winds 10 to 20 knots, shifting to west-southwesterly 20 to 30 knots during the afternoon, reaching 30 to 40 knots about the south and east, seas rising to 2 to 4 metres. A severe weather warning is current for damaging winds in parts of the southeast and east coast forecast districts, a gale warning for lower eastern and southern coastal waters from Wineglass Bay to Low Rocky Point, as well as Storm Bay, Frederick Henry and Norfolk Bays and the Channel. There is a strong wind warning for all remaining coastal waters and the Derwent Estuary. A sheep grazier's warning is also current for the southeast and east coast districts. Tomorrow in Hobart, showers increasing 21, Dover and Ouse both 20 degrees with showers. A possible shower in Launceston 23, a possible shower in Scottsdale 21 and 21 in Devonport partly cloudy. 21 in Burnie partly cloudy, Strawn 17 and Stanley 19 with a possible shower. 23 with a shower or two at St Helens, Swansea showers increasing 21 and a shower or two for Ross 21. The UV is 8 tomorrow with sunrise at 6:51 a.m. On Tuesday, showers about the west and far south, fine elsewhere. Wednesday, much the same, and Thursday looking to be the same as well. A partly cloudy day in Brisbane and Darwin tomorrow, 32, Adelaide 26 and partly cloudy, a possible shower in Melbourne 21 and Sydney a mostly sunny 33 degrees. And currently in Hobart, it's 19 and partly cloudy, Launceston 21, partly cloudy there, and Devonport 18 and mostly cloudy. And Lou, that is your weather forecast for tomorrow, the first day of autumn.
Looks beautiful. Thank you for that, Carmen. And that's all your news for this weekend. Thanks so much for joining us. We hope you have a lovely evening. Good night.